How's it going, everyone? I see Destiny, Thomas, Dave Knight. Hello. Thanks for dropping in. It's been a long time for me. It's been 2 weeks. I don't know about you. I know you guys are busy in the summer. I was busy as well. Hello, Suseanne. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, every second week on Fridays I play softball. We played last night, so when we play Thursday, we don't play on Fridays. So every second week for a few weeks, I will not be able to have a live stream on Friday. I wanted to do one last Sunday. It didn't happen. I was too busy. I had other plans. Hello, Claire. Thank you so much for stopping by. Having supper. Be back in a little. Awesome. All right. Have a nice meal, Thomas. So I just finished like the first week of work. I was on vacation for 2 weeks. I didn't really do much, but then again, I didn't stop. It was raining a few days, so of course, when it's raining, you don't really have much to do. What happened the first week, except working in the garden? I worked on the greenhouse, worked in the plants. I had a few things to plant. Trying to think if there was anything important going on the first week. There probably was. We received the results for the moose draw. Nobody between my dad and I, my mom, my brother, my daughter, Jack and Lindsay from Ren's Homestead, nobody was drawn. I thought it was the end of it until my uncle invited me over. He invited me and my dad to go with him. So it was like a second chance for me to go. Although I've said it before, I'm not the praying type. If there's anyone out there, if you pray, my uncle was supposed to come moose hunting with us. He just found that he has a tumor, a cancerous tumor. He was like mentally doing okay. He was still hopeful that everything was going to be okay. He seemed to have actually more energy than the first time I saw him. They took a biopsy. They have to remove it. It'll need a little bit of radiation. Hopefully everything will work out well. So I don't want to put my hopes up about the moose hunt. I'm just hoping that my uncle is well and that his health gets better. He still wants to go. It's all going to depend on surgery, the radiation, the schedule, the timeline. So he's just hoping that it'll be okay to go. I am a beginner gardener. Well, it doesn't take long to get the knowledge. Find a community. We have, Dave Knight is an awesome gardener. Marilyn, little homestead by the beach, is not here right now. Life in the Valley, Thomas, he's a homesteader as well. We have Annie from Back to Basics Homestead, Lynn from Bucket List Homestead, Tracy, T-Hand141. And if you want to go with the bigger YouTubers, M.I. Gardner is probably the best one to start with. He has a video on each and every single plant you can imagine. I just got back from Georgian Bay and Lake Huron. Did you go fishing, Dave? I left it upstairs. I was feeding the chickens a little bit earlier, and my shirt got dirty, so I took off my shirt. I had to change, and I left my hat upstairs. Kitchener, Ontario. That's nice. I'll try to think. I don't exactly know where Kitchener is in Ontario, but I know some people in Ontario. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Yes, my gardener has all the answers you're looking for if you want to start a garden. Um, then you can get deeper into specifics, hacks, specific tricks, or specific ways of gardening by watching a bunch of other YouTubers. They all have their different ways. Um, I started 3 years ago being a homesteader. Um, the garden, the animals, um, livestock. I had chickens before, but I didn't consider myself a homesteader. Um, Now I have a bunch of fruit trees. I have a garden that provides, I can't really say all my vegetables because I don't have space to grow enough potatoes yet. But I can grow all my carrots. I can grow enough vegetable to make a few meals. Um, Zucchinis and squash. I still have a few squash back there. I think I have like 5 left. And I think I have another one upstairs. So I have 6 squash left. I still have a bunch frozen though. I will have to get some soup going. Hopefully, I can have a good tomato harvest to make some salsa, spaghetti sauce, and of course some soup. I purchased a bunch of different tools this year, um, like a tomato paste maker, juice, and like a big fruit juicer, like the big one. I think it's like 4 gallons. I'm gonna be making apple juice, apple sauce, and all that kind of stuff. So you start whenever you're ready to start. You just add up as you go, because you can't invest too much money upstart. Um, okay, I can start now. Jack, right on. So you don't want to invest too much money up front. If you decide you don't like it, if something happens, you want to move. Once you know you're established and you're going to be at your property for good, start little. If you save $50 the first year, invest $50 the next year, you're going to have fresh produce. You're going to have fun being outside. And if it ends up costing you the same thing, well, you can invest the extra money in the garden, on a homestead, planting fruit trees or whatever, and start little step by step, baby steps, and you'll get there at some point. Hello, Melissa. Thank you for stopping by. I am doing great. So I'm going to have to start over since Jack is here. No, just kidding. But after the Moose Draw that was on, Monday night. I say Monday night, but it was actually at midnight on Tuesday. I worked in the garden. I took care of the community garden. I had to go there and weed a little bit. I ended up having a little chat with one of the elder lady there. She gave me a few tips, and we chatted a little bit. It was nice. And then during the weekend, we were heading over to Ren's homestead. We left here around 7, I think it was, Saturday morning. We stopped by a few yard sales on our way there. We had an Airbnb in Fredericton, and then we were just about 15 minutes away from Jack and Lindsay. So we had a nice meal. We spent some time with some good friends. It's always fun when you have a chance to go see some friends you don't see too often. We had some rainbow trout, some pork, salad, and all that kind of stuff. It was all delicious. And thank you again, Lindsay and Jack, for your hospitality. We had a little fire later. Jack played some banjo and Alexa played some guitar. I got to meet their neighbor, Mel, and I don't remember the name of the guy. We just arrived a little bit later, so we also met Gary and Betty from GBL, the old church homestead. Very nice people. It was fun to have 3 different YouTubers there. The kids kind of felt like it was more a trip for me, and not necessarily vacation for them. So on Sunday they were tired, and it was, they were hoping that we were going to go and do something as a family, which we ended up doing. We went to the little water park. They don't have like water slides or anything. It was just like sprinklers and the water bucket that gets full and then drops on people down there. They played there for like an hour and a half. It was warm and humid. They had fun. And then we went to Kingswood Entertainment Center. If you've seen a few of my shorts, it's a big arcade place. They have a bunch of arcades. We played there a couple of years back when Anthony was having his bowling provincials. After it was done bowling, we played in the arcades, and we saved all the tickets we were winning, and ended up getting like a few prizes there, like a few toys and stuff like that. But this year they made things differently, and we had the dog with us. So I told my girlfriend, I said, look, the kids want to go and do the laser tag, so I'm going to go play the laser tag with the kids, and then I'll come out, and that way my no can go inside with the kids. I purchased like 2 cards that they had a certain amount of points, and it would cost like 100 points or 125 points per game they would play. So I figured it was gonna be like an hour or an hour and a half of playtime. The kids ended up being in teams of 2, and let's go have fun. My girlfriend was with them. I was outside with the dog. And then I was thirsty. I needed to pee, and I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to come outside. We realized that there were no more prizes. Whenever you would win something, they would just add like points or tickets to the card. So the more they played, the more they won. The more they won, the more they ended up playing. So I asked the lady working there, I said, can we keep the cards if we want to come at some point later in a few years from now? And she's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I told her, I said, we have the dog, and we have to keep someone with the dog outside. And she's like, well, you can bring the dog inside. We're a dog-friendly place. I'm like, okay. It would have been nice to know that 2 hours ago. But the dog came inside. Usually the dog is not too fond of people and animals, but she was being nice all weekend. She got some attention from Lindsay and her neighbor Mel. She enjoyed. She would go and get the attention. She would run away, go like 10 meters away, and come back to them. It was funny. And even inside with the noise, she was fine. She was just so happy to be in there, to be inside with us. The kids ended up playing for like 3 hours, and then we went back home. So we arrived home Sunday night. It was a busy weekend because we had to travel like 4 hours. 4 hours Saturday, stayed there 4 hours again on Sunday. I go to give a hug to my daughter because I always hug them and give them a kiss and tell them I love them before they go to bed. And as soon as I let go of her, she goes like boom. So I looked at her. I'm like, "Are you okay? Like, what happened?" So she couldn't explain it. She just fell. So I had to spend like the next day on internet on e-visit, waiting to speak to someone, to a nurse practitioner or a doctor. I registered around 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. I was still on the waiting list. So apparently it's not better than going to the ER. So I go outside, start mowing the lawn, and then my phone starts vibrating. I looked at my phone. I had a few messages from them. I log in, look at my messages, and it was saying like, "It's been more than 15 minutes of inactivity. We have to put you back behind the line." So I had to go back behind the line and wait. I ended up talking to this nurse practitioner. She was very nice. Um, it didn't take too long. She sent me a document that I could just show up at the hospital and get her some blood tests. So I'm still waiting on the results. Um, we have on both the family, we've had issues in the past with our iron being too low. So that could be an issue. Um, yeah, our healthcare system right now is a mess. Um, I I'm not gonna go down that path too far because I work there and I don't want to say anything that could get me into trouble. But there are things that are going on that I think, and I don't think it's anybody. Well, we all know that there are some things happening that it is some people's fault, and I'm not gonna go down that path. But there are some other things happening that I just don't think um, that we know how to handle those situations. I'll give you an example. We have a lot of travel nurse. Travel nurse are from a private company. They're hired by them. Um, they have a better salary, and they have all the expenses paid for. I mean, they come here for a month. Um, their their housing is paid for. Pretty sure their meals are paid for. So they end up making more money, but they don't have a pension plan. They don't have the insurance. They don't have like the stability of being in their own home. And a lot of them arrive here and they like the place and they're like, well, you know what? I think I'm gonna end my contract as soon as I'm done my contract, and I'm gonna try to come to work here. The thing is, what I think could be done differently is most of those people are coming from other countries. So I don't know, and it's just the way that I feel, or just my opinion on things. I feel that they come here, they don't really have more options. They're hired right away by them. And they come here, they're offered a full-time job before they get here. So they come, everything is paid for, and they end up working. So for them, it's easier. For us, it takes about 6 months to train a nurse or a staff member properly, and they're only here for a month. So, you know, it's better than nothing that they come here because at least our services can remain open. But I wonder if we did some, if our recruiting staff were going out to them first, telling them, look, you will not have the same salary, but you will have stability. You won't need to buy a car because you can live close to the hospital. You'll have insurance. You'll have a full-time job. You'll have benefits of living here, of having a regular, normal life. I've heard some horror stories. You wouldn't believe the things I've heard. Some of those people come here with their family with nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. They arrive here because they're promised a job. They move from place to place. They arrive here. They have nothing. So I think that there is some place for improvement. Obviously, we can have some staff arriving, being better prepared. I think we need to improve on the communication. And if we can do that, then I'm pretty sure that the healthcare system will be better. Would that fix every single issue? No. Once again, that's just my opinion. Um, you know, I might be talking too much already. I don't know. But I think there's just a lack of communication between people that come here and the way that the system here works. Because some of them, they're not bad people. They're not like, they don't know what they're doing because everything is so different here. And it's not their fault. But we just need to make sure that when they arrive, that we can support them better. And we should have time to train them before they go away. Could be potassium too. Grace has low iron and potassium and faints a lot. Well, she didn't faint. She was, I don't know. She said that she's been dizzy a few times when getting up too fast, which could be pressure, blood pressure. But I mean, she's only 12, so I'm hoping that it's not it. And she's in very, very good shape. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to go down that line either because I don't want to start. My head will go all different directions, and I'll be stressed out for nothing. So I'd rather wait for results. And by the way, if I didn't say hello, Lynn. Hello, Jotham. Most industries have issues now. Baby boomers started retiring in 2008. It's been downhill since. Yes. And the thing is, like my dad is probably the last few people. He just turned 65. And he's still like at the end of the baby boomers, maybe. And he had like, he usually complains a lot about a lot of stuff, but he had one good point. You want to keep people working. You'd be willing to work for another 5 years, maybe. Who knows? At least 2-3 years. But they shouldn't. Well, nobody should pay taxes. But I mean, the people that are at retirement age, if they want to keep working, they should not tax them. It should be tax-free money. At least they could put some money aside for a real retirement. They could be working to help their kids or pay the rest of their bills and not have to worry about paying taxes. Yeah, you hear stuff. It's it can be troubling for sure. Thank you. I think we're heading for privatization. I hope not. If I don't know, because I look in the States and I don't think that it's better. Maybe some people won't agree. I've been talking to some people down there, and we all know that people can become homeless just because they're sick. At least we don't have that here in Canada. You have that security. I hope that we don't go private. Yeah, the boomers are retired or about to retire, and it's gonna be a rough couple of years for sure. And when I look at the generation coming up, oh boy, I'm not gonna go down that hole either. That's Grace. Okay, that's what she does. She gets up too fast and is dizzy. Yeah. I hope not. I hope it's not it. Well, it was never that. I don't know. It's like she just lost control of her body for like a second and she fell, and it helped her back up and she was fine. So I don't know. Hello, that must be OJ. Thank you for stopping by. Sweden has applied to 13 jobs and not had one interview. They say they are having a hard time finding people to work. I know, right? And they keep saying that the employees now have like the bigger end of the stick. They have more power now because there's less people willing to work and more jobs to fill. But I've been looking for like the past 4 years. I could have a job. Finding a job is easy. Finding a job that pays as much as the one I have now, not so much. Not so much. Talking taxes is going down the rabbit hole. I know, but at least if you knew that when you hit a certain age you wouldn't pay taxes, it would give another reason for people that are about to retire to stay maybe another few years, you know? Yeah, depends where you live. Hello, Courtney. Thank you for stopping by. You're not going live tonight? Hello, Tracy. You're never late. You're arriving precisely at the time you're supposed to be here. Thank you for being here. I get dizzy after 8 beers. Oh, I can get dizzy after 4, especially when I drink the big ones. And see, I'm still on the course late. What else happened? So yeah, my son went in Alberta. He was supposed to be there for a month. The mother-in-law was paying for everything. He wanted to go there, help my father-in-law do some renovations around the house because he had been working out there for about 10 years. He wanted to come back here. My niece was living in the house, and she ended up buying her own place. So my father-in-law wanted to go there and fix the place so that he could sell it for a little bit more and work for maybe a year or two and come back around here. So he wanted Anthony to go there and help him out, I guess. Or I don't know the whole story. I know he was supposed to be there for a month. But he didn't like it. Destiny, if you're still there, I'm guessing you're happy that he's back. He left here on Thursday. That was June 29th, or I think he left maybe on the 28th during the day, but he was taking the plane on Thursday morning or on Friday morning. Sunday, he called us. He was already tired to be there. He wanted to come back home. So the plane tickets were a little bit hard to get. He was able to find one for July 12th. And on July 11th, my beautiful girlfriend turned 40. And she's a cougar now. And Tracy, I told her what you said. She still looks like she's in her mid-20s. She's so pretty. I'm lucky. I'm a lucky man. So we took the opportunity to just go, her and I. We left in the afternoon, spend the day in Moncton, which is about 3 hours and a half away. Well, it's 3 hours away, depending on how fast you go and how many times you stop. But the constructions on the roads, the traffic, I'm so unlucky with traffic. It's insane. On the highway, you're supposed to go 100 kilometers per hour. That's the speed limit. And, people usually go 110. The average going there was 70. 30 kilometers per hour below the speed limit. It was a long drive. Like, I kept following, 3 or 4 trailers following each other. And it was, impossible to pass them. And as soon as I had a chance to pass them, there was either a car coming the other way, or if I managed to pass the 4 of them, I would end up like 5 minutes later being behind like 5 truckers, and it would be the same thing again. I would have to find time and place to pass them. It was just such a long drive. But we ended up going to the mall, spending some time together, having a little meal. We had a nice little Airbnb not too far from the airport. We drove around a little bit. Picked up Anthony. He was coming out of the airplane around 11, but of course he was one of the last ones to get out of the plane. So we left at about 11:30. But he was in Alberta, which is a 3-hour difference. So when he arrived here, didn't want to sleep, and we missed him. So we wanted to spend some time with him as well. We ended up going to bed around 12:30 maybe. And then we went for breakfast at a little place called Chez Cora. They're specialized in breakfast. They're only open from like 6 or 7 until like 2 in the afternoon. They have all kind of breakfast. Basically, anything you can eat for breakfast, they had it. And then we came back home. And I had another softball game yesterday. And so tonight I can make a live stream. I will just say that the government thrives. I'm guessing you meant thieves. The taxes they take from David's pension is shocking. And this is on money they already taxed. Yeah. I've seen that post before. You're getting taxed on your paycheck. And whatever's left, you'll buy a house or a car. And you'll have to pay taxes on that stuff. And whatever's left, you'll have to pay taxes every year, which is insane. I don't know. I get that you have to pay a minimum amount so that they can have the money to fix the roads and stuff like that. But why tax the poor people? Tax the richest people. It's not normal that you have the CEO of Loblaws or whichever it was, like the grocery stores, making millions of dollars of profit every year. And we can barely afford to buy a cheeseburger at McDonald's now. That's... Okay, well, we'll talk about something else because it pisses me off. It pisses me off. Yeah. I probably get snackered by walking by a bar. Yeah. I'm probably the most unlucky person for that stuff. Driving somewhere, ended up behind a car to go slow. Like, I feel like I get them all. I'm rushed to go to a soccer game. Someone in front of me is going 10 below the speed limit. I end up passing that person. I get cut by someone going 20 under. It's like they're doing it on purpose just to get in front of me to piss me off. Yep. Millions of dollars of profit. Plus the bonuses. Yep. And I mean, it's one thing that, like, we could talk about the people on welfare. Some of them, maybe most of them, I don't know. I would like to know the percentage of people that actually need it. But when I see people at the hospital, vacuuming, cleaning, passing the broom or the mop on the floor for $18, $19 an hour, I'm thinking, really? Those people can't work? Like, I get it. Some people they have handicaps, they have other issues, they can't. But man, like, there has to be more people capable of working. It's insane. Like, that's We pay taxes for those people. We pay taxes for the people in prison. People in prison have, okay, we're not going to lie and say they have a good quality of life, but they have food, they have a gym, they have, they have showers as long as they don't drop their soap on the floor. They don't have such a bad life. For someone living on the street, you go to the hospital, you say you're mentally ill, you get free food, free shelter for a month. It's as simple as that. And yet we still see some people in the streets. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. It breaks my heart, especially when there's kids. Some people can't eat properly. And I find it so easy to grow food. It always comes down to this. There's some free food out there in the backyard. And of course, it's not fun going out there looking at a dandelion and thinking, oh, well, I'm going to eat that for supper. It's not fun. I'm not saying that I wouldn't rather skip a meal than doing that. But if you're really hungry, if you're really desperate, you can eat pine needles. You can eat dandelions. There's like a bunch of mushrooms, flowers, different things you can eat. It's free. I think that's where us, the homesteaders, the YouTubers, that's where we become more and more important. And I'll come back to something about the free food in a couple of minutes. Tax the Irvings and the McLeans. Yes, and the thing is, they were talking about how they end up not paying taxes. And the way they do things is legal. It's not ethical, but it's legal. So what they do, they open a business in the Bahamas where it's tax-free. And they can say their business is for whatever they want. They can buy a dog shelter if they want for $1 and say this is their building for their business. As long as they have, I don't even think they need an address. So they hire lawyers, people making their papers. They hire all kind of people out there. They hire that business. Let's say that I'm Rem's Family Farm and I wanted to save some taxes. I could say that I hired Rem's Family Papers, for example, that's located in the Bahamas. I hired them for $50,000 a month to do my paper. So I just transfer $50,000 there. It's tax-free because it's an expense. I don't pay taxes on my expense as a business. They take that $50,000 there, tax-free. Then they can transfer it wherever they want and do whatever they want with it. That's how they bypass the taxes. Adventures with Outdoor Eagles, thank you for stopping by. Nice to have you here. It breaks my heart to see an 80-year-old working as a cashier to help pay for just food. Yeah. I don't know where the world is going. It's not only the war between countries that's scaring me now. It's not only the difference in the opinions of people. You have the right people and the left, and they're chirping at each other. They're fighting. I like to consider myself in the middle. I just don't want to have any conflict. That's how I am. I don't want to have any conflict. I see some good points from the left. I see some good points from the right, depending what it is. I have my opinion on it, but except voting, except working as hard as I can, there's not much I can do, really. Hello, CR. Thank you for stopping by. There's a lady here who works 40 plus hours a week. Yeah. Well, as homesteaders, we do work a lot more than that. But I did the exercise last year with the Shit War collab that I was in, which is now the Global Gardening and Homesteading Community. I put down in my document like everything I harvested in pounds, and then I tried as hard as I can, as hard as I could, to find the proper cost for that food. Let's say I had 5 pounds of strawberries. They sell for, I don't know, $1 a pound, for example, or $2 a pound. This is what I wrote in my document. And then I had the total coming up, and it was like $6,900 that I ended up with, and that was not on sale before the big inflation, so it'd be even more now. But when you think about it, it's like $7,000 worth of food that, you know, it's not taxable. It's not. If I had to go and get a second job to be able to afford $7,000 worth of food, I would have to go work and make $10,000 of revenue, because I would get taxed about 30%. So it means that I wouldn't be paid at the same salary I am now. I'd be paid a lot less, because of course you get a second job. If it was paying more, I'd be working there full time, right? Not part time. So it ended up being like an extra 20 hours a week for the same amount of money worth of food. Of course, we do put more than 20 hours a week, probably. But I'm home. If I don't feel like going in the garden tonight, I'm not going to go. There's no boss telling me what to do. You know, I work for myself. There are people that, unfortunately, you know, life is hard. And the kids watch that YouTube channel, Darman. I don't know what it's called, how you pronounce it, but you see often, based on true stories, people that end up in the street for X reason. They got divorced. They ended up not being able to pay for a lawyer, especially in the States. That's where it happened the most. War veteran that comes out. For some reason, they can't afford to go to work. They can't afford a house. They can't afford an apartment. They end up being on the street. That it breaks my heart so much for them. And I just wish that I could, if I ever win the lottery, of course, I can't help them all, but I will give them food. I will grow food full time. So I will have extras that I can give to some people in need. Last year, we tried to do a little thing called Garden Deeds. It was started by myself, Magdalene from Little Homestead by the Beach, and Angie and me in New Acres. It didn't take off the way we would hope it would take off, but it was even hard for us because I was trying to give away food. I had fresh eggs. I had like fruit baskets where I was going to put tomatoes, zucchinis, maybe a bag of potatoes, maybe a bag of carrots, maybe even give them a chicken, homegrown chicken. Just give them a meal that they could have, at least have a decent meal for Thanksgiving. Those families in need. And there was no way for me to find a family in need. I contacted the school principal. I asked him, do you know of someone that would benefit from that? I don't even need to know the name. I don't want to know the name. I'll bring you the food at school and you can bring it to them. It just didn't happen. I don't know, the family was too shy, or they didn't want to accept that help, or maybe he didn't know how to approach them. He ended up not talking to them. I don't know. But it's hard because some of them don't want to have help. To see my free membership expired. When I get home, go in and sign up. I miss the member stuff. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I noticed a few days ago you commented on one of my membership video. And I noticed before the live stream I was doing the little banner down there, and you were not a member anymore. So I figured you had one at some point. But gives me a chance to talk about it a little bit. I post a few more videos out there. I have them shown to the members a few days, sometimes even a few weeks before I show it to the regular viewers. I post some pictures, some different stuff there. If you're interested, 99 cents, you can have access to a bunch of stuff. You can just click join. It's down here, I think. It'd be around here somewhere. It says join. And yeah, you can either pay 99 cents to have access to a few different things. I give you shout outs, and I give you free pictures, free behind the scenes stuff. $2.99, you have some extra stuff. I have another one around $10 to $12. Yeah, it's not available on the phone. You have to be on the computer to do it. Yeah, you have some more emojis like Dave and I just showed you. I have another one that's between $10 and $12. I don't remember, which gives you private time with me as a graphic designer. If you ever need help, making a logo, working out your website, or different things like that, I can give you tips and tricks. I'm also looking at having a website. I found good hosting company. Wouldn't be too expensive. As soon as I have time, it might end up being only in the winter, but I did film. Yeah, that's another thing I did last weekend. We ended up butchering my meat chickens. I bought 40 chickens. I lost only one. I left 2 there because they were just a little bit too small, so I ended up doing 37 chickens. I had friends from my help from my friends Remy, Marilyn, and Remy's sister Annie. So the 4 of us, butchered. We did all we had someone doing the part. We had someone else putting them in the boiling water or hot water, and then in the plucker, and then they bring the chickens on the tables, and there were 2 of us doing all the cuts and gutting them and all that stuff. It took about 4 hours maybe to do 37 chickens. And that includes about 12 of them, or maybe 15, between 12 and 15 that were in a shrink bag. The rest, when I got home, Mino helped me. We cut them up. We separated the chicken legs, boneless breast, the chicken wings, and I vacuum sealed them. So I ended up with about 205 pounds out of 37 chickens for an average of 5.6 pounds. I had one that was 4 from the ones I butchered, was just 4 pounds. I had 5 that were just shy of 5, 4 pounds and 15 ounces. You can pretty much say 5 pounds. Most of them were between 5.5 and 6, and I had another 5 chickens that were over 6 pounds. All right, take care. Take care, Lynn. Thank you for stopping by. The biggest one was 6 pounds and 9 ounces. So we did pretty cool. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So I was going to say something else before I ended up talking about the chickens. But anyway, she gets a hotel every few days and showers at YMCA. She said the rents are so high she can't afford it. Yeah, and, you know, we talk about, I'm going to say that, like, the Vietnamese people or Chinese people or maybe even the Mexicans, or I don't know. I don't want to be racist or sound like I'm, pointing fingers at some communities more than others. But there are people, we've seen that in Canada. There'll be like 3 families under one roof, and at first we all pretty much have the same thoughts. We're all like, why? 3 families in the same house. Why? But now the cost of life is so high that it's going to happen. It's going to need to happen. And like that lady that can't afford a place, imagine if there was like 5 like her that couldn't afford a place, and if 5 of them got together and got like just regular small beds, they could fit like 2 beds in a bedroom. They would at least have a kitchen and a fridge and a stove to cook, a washer, dryer, and a hot shower. Maybe instead of paying $1,000 a month for rent, they could do it for like $200-$300 a month. It's gonna come down to this at some point. It's gonna need to happen. Food chat just came in time. Yeah, and I'm so grateful for my garden as well. It's insane the amount of food that we can get from there. And tomorrow morning, it starts at 9:30. I think I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 9:30. I have a foraging, not foraging, but foraging, collecting the wild plants class that I paid $60. And it's going to be raining all day, unfortunately. For 3 hours, we're going to go walk in the woods with someone that's done that before. She gives class. Her name is Julie Wild, I think. She's going to teach us some of the things that we can eat right out of the forest, which is awesome because that's something that I'm really, really interested in. I feel confident with a few mushrooms now, a few plants, a few things, but there are still a few ones that I'm not 100% sure, and have someone to show me in person, it's priceless for me. That $60 investment is going to bring me so much more. And she's even supposed to give us ideas of how to cook the food that we harvest. Just this week, I went looking if I could see some chanterelles, mushrooms, and I ended up with almost 3/4 of a pound, which doesn't look like much, but it was still like a nice little bowl, and I was able to fry them and freeze them. Saying hi. Yeah, can't help everybody, but one can help someone. And, the ripple effect. You do one good deed. We see that in movies. It's kind of a cliche, but it's true. You do one good thing, and then the first thing you know is people start doing it. There was a time when I would go buy a coffee at Soup and Sweet, and whenever I had like an extra toonie in my pocket, I would tell the women that I'm paying for the next coffee. At some point I got there, paid a coffee, paid for the one after me, and the guy arrived, I wasn't gone. I'm like, I paid for your coffee. He's like, why. I'm like, it's just doing a good thing, help you start your day on the right, with a smile on your face. And he's like, you know what? That's nice, and I'm gonna do the same thing. But I mean, if I only pay $2, I'm just paying for my own coffee. So I'm gonna pay $4 too, and 2 more coffees are gonna be paid for. And by the time we were out, there was like 5-6 person in line doing the same thing, paying like 2 more coffees every time for $4. So there was probably like 10 to 12 people going in that day that ended up having a free coffee. It's not much, and I can't afford it anymore because I buy my own coffee now. It's cheaper, but the little deed, and if by doing this I can bring other people to start doing it, not just do it because I did it that one time, but if they do it at least once a year, that's a good deed that did a little bit more than just paying coffee, right? And I've said that story before, and I'm going to say it again. A couple of weeks back, we went at Pizza Delight with the family to eat supper. And when we got there was this man with a sign in his hand, please help me, I'm hungry. And I talked to him like, you didn't eat for a while, buddy? He's like, no, I haven't eaten in 2 days. I'm really hungry. I'm like, I had like $7 in my pocket. I'm like, I'm going to give you $7. But I don't want you to go and buy alcohol and drugs. I want you to eat. He's like, yeah, I'm going right at McDonald's because that's pretty much all I can afford. I'm like, okay, well, I want you to eat. And my daughter comes out of the vehicle, and I mean, she's not working. Of course, she's only 12. That's money she got for Christmas. That's money she, did some chores around the house. That's money that she, and she went and gave him $5. That's not much, $5 for someone that makes $10 million a year. But for her, $5, that was half the money she had. That's $5 is now a lot of money for me too. And we went to town a few weeks later. We went to see, what movie was it? We went to see a movie. Can't remember what it was. Or maybe we just went to town for something else. And the guy was still there when we passed, and my daughter looked at me and she's like, can we stop and give him money again? And I said, we'll do better than that. I went to Tim Hortons, and I bought him like a chicken sandwich with water and a coffee. So I went straight at him, gave him a sandwich, 2 bottles of water, and a coffee. And I'm like, there you go, enjoy. And it's not much, but if he didn't eat in 2 days, maybe I saved his life. Who knows? Saying hi to each other. That's good time. So Lynn is gone by now. They had just turned 9 weeks. I purchased them at 3 weeks. And one of the things I noticed is the first year I read online, and they said that if you have, I don't remember the exact numbers. For example, if it's 1 scoop per 5 chickens, I had 20 chickens. I was giving them 4 scoops per day. And it ended up costing me about 10 bags of feed, and I had them until the end of August, beginning of September almost. And they were about 4.5 pounds. Last year, I had them on Sarah's property, and Sarah was going there every morning, and he was feeding them every morning. And I knew that, but when I got there at night to put them back inside the coop, they had no feed, so I was feeding them again. And I noticed that they were getting bigger faster. I ended up butchering them first weekend of August, which was almost a month earlier. They averaged 5 pounds, and it only cost me, I'm pretty sure it was 7 bags of feed, but we calculated all our numbers with 10 just to be sure, but we know it wasn't 10. It was like 7 or 8. And I had 20. I started with 25 chickens, and I ended up with 22 at the end. I lost 3. So it was a few more chickens. I butchered them a month earlier, and it cost me less food. And they were bigger, just because I was giving them more food. This year, I figured I'll do something different. So I had this big feeder at home that I was using for my other chickens. Brought that there, filled it up. I ended up using nine bags, 37 chickens. 2 of them are still there, so they might end up using like half another bag, 2 of them. So you keep that in mind. I had double the chickens, 37 chickens. I only used 9 bags. I butchered them last week, which was the middle of July, and they averaged 5.5 pounds. And the idea is they don't have time to burn their calories, and they have nothing else to do than eat, so all they do is eat. They get bigger faster, and it ends up being a lot cheaper. So by the cost of feed at the moment, counting the shrink bags and the plastic from the vacuum sealer, I had $9.67 without the bags. So add an extra even $2 if you want. So let's say that it was $12 per chicken. Homegrown chicken for $12 at 5.5 pounds. You get into your money very fast, because you won't get a chicken that big for that cost at the store. Plus, it's way better, tastes better, it's done the proper way. We know where it came from. It was homegrown. It's the best thing you can do. If you have space, if you have a small community to help you with the chickens, go ahead and do it. And what I wanted to say earlier, about 15 minutes ago, is with that website, I will be able to show some videos of the stuff that I can't show on YouTube. I filmed everything about that chicken day. I might only be able to do a few shorts of the setup. Unfortunately, I can't show anything about the chicken processing because YouTube doesn't allow it. So I will be able to have my own website where I can show those videos. I will be able to make a post in the community page telling people that I now have a website, and I will be able to show that video to everyone who wants to see it. There's nobody that can complain about the stuff I show on my own website. So that's my idea anyway, and this is one of the reasons I want to have a website. Plus, I want to be able to blog a little bit. North 54 Degree Farmstead, thank you so much for stopping by. Yes, I'm doing great, and I hope I have fun as well. Too much rain, but if it's not too cold, it's not too bad. We're supposed to get lightning and thunders. Hopefully that happens a little bit later, not while we're in the woods. Traveling in my van is much cheaper. Restaurants and motel rooms sure have gone up as service has gone down. Yeah, that's true. You pay $200 for one night now. It's crazy. Coffee, hot brew sure helps in colder months. Yeah, I just hope he's not going to be there anymore by winter. I hope he finds the help he needs, and it's never fun. Chicken math. You got that right. Hello, Darren. How are you? You calling me sexy beast? Hope you're doing well, Darren. So, I still have 7 turkeys. I purchased 8, lost 1. One of them just died. I don't know what happened. The life on a homestead, I guess. You're bound to see it happen. I'm finally starting to see some squash flowers in my garden. The peas are just starting to pop up. I still have trouble with my beans. The plants are being eaten by mice. Is that like a real thing? Can you actually show a hunting video? I don't know if I would trust that. Try not to show. Well, I did show some stuff last year, but I didn't show the part. I showed when we were walking, and then I showed it on the ground. Peace. Good going goes hunting. That's awesome, Dave. You better take a lot of videos. Sunday, I went over. I don't know if you guys seen the video that came out yesterday. I think it was. Michelle from the Big Blue Farmhouse invited me over. I went to the farmer's market to talk to that guy selling shaga because of the lady that I saw at the Eastern Ontario Homesteaders Conference. She asked me if I could help her find a good source for shaga so she could keep on making her tea. So I ended up having a little chat with the lady that sells her tea in my area. And just before I left, I found a guy that's doing the shaga. I gave him all the information. I'm hoping that he was able to reach her. I'm going to have to give her a call to see if he did. Her name was Bonnie Jean. And she was doing some natural tea out of herbs that she's harvesting. So while I was there, I met this nice lady called Michelle, and she was selling microgreens. And in my area, this was something kind of new, and I knew it was a good idea. And I do it a little bit for myself. I grow some sprouts and some microgreens. So of course, I got drawn to her table and started talking with her a little bit to get to know what she was doing and where she was from. And so she ended up inviting me over to her place. She just got here last year. It was during the moose hunting season because she remembers that they arrived here, no electricity. When they called to get everything fixed, internet, electricity, water, and all that stuff, the guys were gone hunting, so they couldn't go and set them up. And one of them even told them, if we get our moose early enough in the week, then maybe we can come like Thursday or Friday and set you up. So they spent I think it was around a month, if I remember correctly, that she said that they ended up no electricity and couldn't take showers at home. They had to go to the Osprey restaurant where they have a truck stop. So it was a rough first month, but then they settled down. And, they're doing some work in the house in the winter and doing some work in the garden in the summer. The property is weirdly shaped. It's like a hockey stick kind of, or an L. But they have some apple trees there already. They have this big field where they're going to have a lavender farm. They have their own garden. And then they told me something interesting, something that I'm still trying to figure out who it could be. Her boyfriend is a cook at a restaurant, and he was talking to this young fellow that told him that his grandfather was retired, and he used to own a farm, and he has, I'm going to say, like 100 acres. I don't know for sure. And he wants to rent or lease like 5 acres of land for someone to go and farm the land for him. Like not for him, just you rent 5 acres for 10 years and you can go and farm the land. And I'm guessing that the reason he doesn't want to go more than 10 years is because if something happens to him, the land ends up belonging or ending up in the hands of one of his kids. He doesn't want to have something on the long term. And it's probably going to be a way for him to have a little bit more money if he does that. I'm just not sure who it is because it is in my own village and I didn't even know. So it's someone in my village that's willing to lease 5 acres of land for someone that wants to farm. So I'm interested in finding out how much it will cost, how much it will cost for someone to bring a tractor there and till the land, or flip it a little bit. If it's reasonable and I can see a way to make a little, not necessarily a profit, but I mean, I'm not going to go if it's like $200 a month. But if it was like $50 a month or something like that, even then it's a little bit expensive. But if it's, $200-$300 a year or something like that, I don't know how much it would go for, but I would consider it. I mean, even if I just go there and plant a bunch of potatoes, I would probably have a bunch of potato bugs the first year. I have to find a way to get rid of them. But if you have a lot of potatoes, you can sell them after. You can even plant carrots. You can plant squash, zucchini, sell them, or have a little farm stand and make a little bit of money. Plant some cucumbers or whatever, anything that doesn't require much attention. You can just plant it there and hope for the best. And that'd be nice. It's something that I would love to do. Although, I have this big aisle of the community garden, and it's pretty nice. The stuff there, the first couple of weeks, I felt like it wasn't growing at all. You've seen my garden tour. Did you see it or did not come out yet? I think you've seen it. Should have seen it. Let me check just quickly. Videos. So do I have anything still? Members only garden tour, but that's my personal garden tour that's going to come out tomorrow morning. So yes, you've seen the so it came out on July 8th. So nothing was growing at all the first few weeks. And even early this week, I went there and I was kind of discouraged a little bit because there wasn't much growing. I felt like I was going to fail my garden. And I went there yesterday just for a few minutes. My tomato plants are huge. I'm going to have some tomatoes soon. My pepper plants are full of peppers. My carrots are finally starting to pop up. My zucchini and squash plants are huge. My corn is about a foot high. It's finally growing. I have a bunch of beans growing there. Luckily for me, because they don't grow in my place. So it looks like I might have a decent harvest after all. I love goose hunting. That's something I've never done. I would love to do it. I would love to try that. Good idea. The big ones, some big ones and small ones. For pollinators, I could probably even plant some marigolds. Yeah, lots of flower clusters for pollinators to make sure they stay around. Selling a bag of apple woods for extra cash. That's nice. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Um, although I still need to call the people that owns the land behind my parents' place. That would be the best place for me to just go and plant some potatoes. Um, I could save my garden here to plant some more stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah. My fruits are starting to pop up here and there. I tried black currants for the first time. That's disgusting. Oh, it tastes bad. I guess it's better in jelly or jam. I'm gonna have to try it out. But if it's not better in jam or jelly, those trees are gonna come out. Okay, my tomatoes. Yeah, there's a lot of flowers right now, and a few tomatoes popping up. But it's full of bees around. There's a big field around that they don't cut. Well, they didn't cut it yet. They're probably gonna cut it for hay at some point. Harvested a couple of pounds of rhubarb today. Yeah, I still have some that I could harvest, although I want to let it grow a little bit because I have about 8 pounds of rhubarb already in the freezer, and I want to let my rhubarb take like the roots take good before I start harvesting them, because I feel like if I harvest too fast, they don't grow big enough. But I have one of my colleagues that wants to make homemade wine. Like he wants to ferment the fruits. So apparently he's all set up to do that. And I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to bring him some strawberries and rhubarb and do some strawberry rhubarb wine. I hope it can taste something similar to the wine I brought at the conference. That would be so fun. So nice. Harvesting some peas. That's nice. I used to only eat the peas inside the pods. And last year I started eating the pods, and it tastes just like the peas, and it's so good. These are my snacks now. I bring cucumbers and peas at work. I eat better in the summer for sure. In the winter, it's going to be chocolate and chips and granola bars and stuff like that. But in the summer, fruits. I'll have some apples later in the fall. I'll have some carrots and some point, peas, radishes. Um, it's there. It's easy. It's convenient. Picking beans and tomatoes now. Nice. I picked a few tomatoes, but just like the tiny cherry tomatoes and the little yellow candy tomatoes. They don't last long enough. My daughter eats them like candies. Hello, John. Thank you so much for stopping by. Nice to have you here. You don't do live streams, John, right? You should. It'd be nice to get to know you a little bit more, other than just like the regular videos. I think I might have both, but I like the sweet peas. The ones I have here right now growing are the sweet peas. And it's funny because I have some potato plants popping up from last year, and my peas are climbing on the plants, so they stay up and straight. Yeah, maybe in the winter. In the winter, people usually have more time. But I don't know. It's I love it. You can always do just like 30 minutes. Once a week, or even once a month, or an hour if you have time, or it doesn't have to be 2 or 3 hours. I see some people doing live streams for about 6 hours. I don't even know how they do it, because I can't. It's been an hour and 22 minutes now, and I'm running out of things to say. And I haven't been on a live stream for 2 weeks, so can you imagine? I'm trying to think what else I have planned. I'm gonna go look for mushrooms, because I want to go put a block of salt for our moose if we end up going. So I'm gonna go and take a look for mushrooms at the same time. Chanterelles and lobster mushrooms. The lobsters are probably about to come out in a week or two. Hopefully, I'll be lucky enough to find someone with a boat so we can go bass fishing. Bass fishing is a good way to bring a lot of food in my freezer as well. I think we still have like 1 or 2 fillet from last year, from the bass we fished last year. We still have some mackerel in the freezer. They're all filet, so we can just grab them, cook them, and it's so good. The striped bass, I just put salt, pepper, and butter in the pan, fry them. Delicious. I'm going to try the same thing with mackerel, actually. Mackerel is known to have a little bit more bones in them, but the way they're fillet, the way that I fillet them, they don't have bones. They're just tiny pieces of meat, so they're not going to be in the pan for too long. So I might end up just putting them in foil paper instead, and like putting them on the barbecue or just in the oven just for a few, like 20-25 minutes maybe. We'll see. And that's a fun thing when we have so much options. We have salsa. I still have carrots, squash, zucchinis. I still have beans. I have some mackerel canned here. I don't know if it's still good though. Should be. That's from 2018, but it still looks great. I have some cans back there. I still have some moose meat here. That was canned last year. So anytime we can just come and grab something and cook a meal. And now it's the time of year where everything is coming fresh from the garden. We can make a nice salad with cucumbers, lettuce, spinach. We put some eggs in our salad. We'll put some what else do we put? Some strawberries sometimes. It's all good. Yeah, any kind of greens, really. Well, as you can see, I'm running out of things to say. So I will let you guys go. I don't know if there's anyone else going live tonight. Let me check that. I see that our life upgrade is live, and Scott from Rambling with the Brooms is live. Let me see. Is Amanda still live? Yes, she is. So I will try to redirect you to her live stream if I have time to do it before you guys leave. That will be my way of giving her a shout out. So here's the link to her live stream if you want to go and give her a thumbs up. She doesn't go live too often. I think it's here that I have to go redirect ad. Boom. Can I see her from here? Nope. I do this. There it is. I can't redirect you to her live stream because I need to ask for privilege. Scott is there, so I will redirect you to him instead. So as soon as I'm done, if you stay here, you will be redirected to Scott's live stream. Thank you everyone for stopping by. It was nice to have you here. Take care. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys either in the next few days or in a few weeks or in a few hours. Who knows? Take care, everyone, and I will let you go with some music again.